Hello there and welcome to iAtZine's Let's Review Freedom Planet. It's part of the Humble Weekly Bundle, the IGM provided bundle, Indie Games Magazine. Let's get started, shall we? Let's have a new file. This game is basically, did you like Sonic's 1, 2 and 3 on the Mega Drive? Because if you did, this is that game, except updated much better than you remember. If you didn't like those games, you're going to hate this game. It's pretty much an exact, faithful update of those games. It is really good. I have to say, I have been missing Sonic games that are actually like Sonic games, not like leg simulators, which is what the recent Sonic games have become. Essentially, he crashes down, he takes, yeah, more crashing down. Can we skip this, please? Yes. Essentially, it's not really plot's not really relevant. You can be one of these two characters. You have the ability to move, jump, and twist attack, which also gives you more aerial maneuverability. You have a punch, which you can also use to uppercut. And while you're in the air, you can do downwards attacks and combos. The key sort of thing is the fact that you do have Sonic's dash ability. But the fact that they've actually given fighting moves really extends the whole Sonic formula. I mean, that's something that he really needed, not just jump on enemies. And I think if Sonic Team actually knew what they were doing, this would be the game that they created, really. It's such a shame that they have essentially failed to make this. The fact is, clearly the talent hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, it's just gone to other studios. This can still be done. In fact, in very much the same graphical style. This is actually far more playable than the last Sonic game. I don't know if you've gone back to Sonic 3, which is an utter classic. Don't get me wrong. I love Sonic 3 and actually have it in at least 3 different formats, including the original Mega Drive. But this game has taken all of the problems, the little niggles that you would have with that game, which admittedly there weren't loads, and sort of smoothed them out and made it easier. They've used time to actually improve the game, which I really think the various Sonic teams should have done by now. Let's face it, instead of just making his legs longer and making the areas more 3D, we didn't need all of that jazz. We needed this feeling of movement and momentum. We needed this, the way that you start slow but you build up in speed. You have speed accelerating moves. The areas are all built for maneuvering at high speed, not, stationary. Granted, there are fights, for example, this one. Where you're fighting a sort of vertical caterpillar thing. But then there were those in the original Sonic games anyway. I mean, this game is so faithful and yet at the same time improves in every way. The only thing it doesn't have is the original Sonic license, and to be fair, I'm actually kind of glad, because it means that they'll get to continue making games of this type because it's their own IP. And if you do have time to watch the plot, I do suggest you do it. It is all voice acted, it's very pretty, it still uses the same type of graphics that you would want to see, i.e. these type of in-game graphics. It doesn't try and use super up-to-date CGI cinematics or anything. It really just does it right. I mean, ooh, that's nice. If only Sonic Team could follow this lead. If you like, I mean, I've said it once today, I'm going to say it again. If you liked the original Sonic games at all, if you even just sort of thought they were quite good, then you will like this game. It's a pretty broad statement, but I really think there are very few people who will hate this game. Because you can take it at a slow pace, you don't have to take it at the maximum speed, but if you've got used to sort of the fluid movement, it is more like a platform racing game than it is a beat 'em up. I mean, the the fact is you have now more combat options than just bounce on its head, which also give you maneuverability options. Look, there was a boss. He's gone. In fact, you also have an energy meter for your boosts now. Makes a lot more sense. Because Sonic would just have to stop to charge his spin dash all the time. Now, you don't have to. Instead of starting still, which is what I actually tried the first time, revving up, you don't need to. You can still run on water, but you just need to charge up with either the blue crystals or time. But it doesn't have to be time on the ground. For example, you charge up even while falling. Or while on a ladder, for example, which is probably what I'm going to do in a minute. The other thing it gives you is because you can spin dash at any time, you can spin dash mid-air, hopefully I'll get to show you in a minute, and can therefore spin dash up. So if I wait to recharge, spin dash and aim up, you bounce off the ceiling and continue on. You can get into some quite tight spaces by doing that. I am bedazzled by this game. I love it. I will probably actually, unlike many of the games I review, go on to complete this game, or at least give it a good old try. Because I do believe it's worth it. And I do want to reward the developers for making something that I've wanted to play for a long time. An update, a new revision, a new game in the Sonic franchise, albeit without the sort of now annoyingly American voiced characters. The fact is, the American voices weren't the worst part of those characters. What they did to his legs though, I mean, oh, it would have been less bad if they'd broken them. They're like 26 feet long each. Nobody needs that much leg. Nobody needs, like... Ow. I don't think this worm is defeatable. Oh, maybe he is. Nobody needs... Oh, come on. 52 feet of leg. That's what I was trying to say before this worm rudely interrupted. Can we actually get up here? If you saw my previous review of Rack, the fact that we can't continuously jump for infinity in this game is actually a benefit. They've not lazily copped out on the mechanics. You do feel like a proper physical creature with abilities and weaknesses. For example, you are vulnerable in the air when you run out of your blue meter. And now shall we try going up? Just run straight up and run across the ceiling. And that's maneuverability we haven't seen in games for such a long time. This reminds me more of Super Meat Boy than Felix Rage, honestly. There's Phoenix Rage that I was meaning. Right, can we look up? Yes we can. I don't think we can get up there, but we can go down here. So swimming down, again, like any good Sonic game, there's the underwater breathing section, but it's not so worried when you can just spin dash up to the ceiling. You don't have to spend your whole time going, oh my god, I'm gonna drown! As we once did as children. I do think introducing kids to the concept of drowning so early was a bit harsh. Right, now these things are annoying only because you can't actually kill them. I do like smashing things, as my 100% records on many LEGO games will attest to. Games pretty much about smashing things. Yeah, I thought that might work, but I was surprised. Basically, there are any given number of those things until you get to the end, it would seem. Oh, well, worth a try. Right, now... Oh, yeah, try not to headbutt rocks. I love the fluidity of the animation. I mean, this... I don't know if they did have, like, Sonic team members, or original Sonic team members actually working on this, but it feels like even if they haven't, they must have some very talented artists and particularly artists and engine writers that know what they're doing. Yeah, evidently we can't hurt that thing while it's spinning, or can we? Apparently we can, but it just has a cost associated with it. May actually be worth it with the time going. And he's dead. Oh, I love it. Slow-mo finisher. And the worm is dead. Cutscene. Almost exactly like Sonic, but actually more modern, updated, new stages, Rolling Stones.
How many chasers are left? You didn't still cut?
Yeah, I cannot be bothered to watch the sequence. If you want to watch the cut sequences, and I do, like I said, I suggest you do, they're quite good, well animated, etc. Do go ahead and pick this game up. It is very good. At the moment I'm just trying to show you around the fact that it is essentially Sonic. Oh come on, not another cut sequence. Oops, window just lost focus. Here we go, Relic Maze. I'll finish the Relic Maze and then I'll get out of your hair. Ooh, what was that? Ah, it was a looping elevator up to one of these cards. Now I haven't quite figured out what these cards do yet, but I'm always up for the challenge of finding out. I do like that our spin dash move does do damage at the same time. Granted, it would have been a bit out of character if it hadn't with, say, the Sonic games. But it doesn't have to, they're making their own game here. They've kept all of the best parts. Ooh, is that... No, it's not somewhere I can go. What's up here? Ah! Well, I'm sure these are probably worth something. Kicked him in the face. That's how we deal with guys who are bad. Wow, that is also how we deal with... Okay, that's just a trap. However alive it seems, it's not. Right. Now that bouncing off the wall move is really useful. Oh, I saw a... treasure chest. I wonder what's in there. Now I don't know what those orbs do. I'm sure I'll find out in the long run. This isn't really intended to be a sort of thorough walkthrough or guide. It's really just getting you used to the concept that there's another Sonic game. Which you have no idea how ecstatic I am about it. This is me, despite being off my meds, or at least significantly reduced in the quantity of my meds, ecstatic. It's not something that happens every day. I only hope that the developers can see fit to continue this series. There we go, extra life. Ah. So we do have to actually collect it after we so to get up here we can... Oop, stop shooting at me. Ah, I'll go the other way. It's a bit odd that she yells the name of the attack when she's cyclones sometimes, but not always. It might be pertinent, I don't know, but the lady I'm currently playing is apparently a dragon. Yep, you heard it here first. Or not, you know, depending on whether you've seen other reviews of Freedom Planet. Yeah, let's not try and tangle with that guy, at least until he stops drilling. Right, so it looks like to open the purple door you have to go up, and to open the yellow door you go down. How do I know that? Because I've already played this level. Wouldn't be a terribly good review if I had no idea what the game was like now, would it? But the fact is, I probably willingly played this level over and over again for a while. Just because it is that good. Ooh, what's down here? Ooh, a clock? What does a clock do? Oh, it leads to a chest with red orbs in it. I'm sure those must do something Chaos Emerald style that we haven't discovered yet. Ooh. Loot. And a yin-yang. Okay, there's got to be some sort of secrety stuff to this game. I'm sorry if you can see framing there. I think the framing's probably just coming from the fact that my computer doesn't awfully like pumping out graphics while being recording. Ooh. I love that ability to instantly charge. It seems so much more civilized. Ah, and here we have a boss. A boss who, if taken intelligently, is not actually all that hard. However, you may consider it hard to play this intelligently. Yeah, it took me a while to work out the first time too. I was punching his face in over and over and over, and then I realised, what if we just drop the block on his head? Yep, that was the answer. I love the whole beat-em-up moves. This game has actually got better fighting moves than one of the Sonic games that did bother trying to do fighting, aka the one where he's a werehog. That's not even a thing. Don't try and make it a thing, Sonic. Luckily, if we're just comparing to the old Sonics, this is, like I said, it's about the same, but an improvement in so many ways. Now, I know some people might be having nostalgia goggles on slightly and going, but no, but those games were perfect. They were pretty bloody good. They are classics of their genre. But go back and play them now, and you'll see that you know all the levels perfectly, and there's not, there's not going to be anything nuanced about them. This game needs to be given somewhat of a break because it's new, and they have actually created new content, and this does show that they can continue, hopefully, to create new content in this vein. But also because they have taken things that Sonic, well, not necessarily did wrong, but minor annoyances about the old Sonic games, and just polish them out. For example, the ability to spin dash in mid-air so that you can maneuver easily. The fact that Sonic had a single jump, but this lady has a double jump, although it's a less controlled double jump, so it's not like they're giving you 3 extra jumps, but it does smooth your maneuverability again. Yeah, try not to jump into those things. There was an extra life along here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there he is. So I'm sorry if I'm gushing, but I am adoring this game. The music, for example, is something that you don't generally notice in the sound design. It's pretty much perfect. I love the fact that when you get hit, you don't drop all of your blue gems, you just lose some health. Now this is a cutscene, basically the guy... Oh, we can't skip the cutscene. Fine. The guy's stealing the yellow Chaos Emerald. It's not a Chaos Emerald. You'll find out what it really is should you play the game yourself. It's actually not that important. Well, the plot is unimportant to the sheer joy of playing the game. Compared, I should say, to the... Now the only thing I do wonder is whether this game has like a multiplayer like the Sonic games came to have. or whether maybe an online multiplayer, or maybe a multiplayer with multi-screen. That would be even better. Right, so onwards, and we're actually getting to do... I was able to do that bit. That was not cutscene, neither is this. Level continues. And I really like that. They've not just taken control entirely away from you. I think a lot of Sonic, a lot of the cutscenes were overly invasive. For example, when Dr. Robotnik's running away from you a couple of times, he runs at the same speed as you, and you think, well, if I could just spin dash, I'd catch him up in a moment, but apparently I'm not allowed to have control here. Right, the reason I'm stopped here is because there is a secret that you can only get to if you've picked up the mechanics of the game by this point. Ooh. Nope, standing too close. So holding up, hit the spin attack button, and there's our secret card. I mean, just things like that. The fact that I found that one means that's probably an easy one to find, so there must be harder ones. Right, now we've got to watch out for the pick here. And I mean, you don't even have to watch out. If you can just find enough health, you can do what you always used to do, or I always used to do in the Sonic games, and just spin dash your way to victory. See, now that recovery there would not have been possible in the Sonic games, because there was no aerial manoeuvrability, or at least no way to change direction mid-air. I do love the way she swings around when holding onto ladders. Is there anything over here? Yes, there is. Blue gems. Blue gems, as you can see, are on a countdown rather than a count up like they were with, the rings were with Sonic. Because when you reach 0, you get an extra life. So you know exactly how many you are away, which is sort of the more pertinent question. Ah, that is something I need. We actually made out like a bandit there, despite taking damage. We're now at full health. Wow, trashed the floor there. Ah, probably didn't help that that guy was there. Ooh, what was that down there? Ah, I can't find out. So again, I'll just keep playing, but until I hit environmental hazard, killing an enemy. I love it. I'm not sure that would have worked in the Sonic games. I don't remember using environmental hazards in that way. Largely because you had much less control of your environment. So giving the player more scope, more ways of controlling the game. I mean, it's all tiny little changes that they've very cleverly put together that add up to a better game. And I actually feel really sad to have to say that. I know I'm a little bit guilty for having to say that, because Sonic has been one of my favourite, well, the old Sonics I should say, it's been some of my favourite games for the longest time. But you know what? They've been outdone, and they haven't managed to outdo themselves. They've been outdone by someone else, and an indie developer at that. What more can I say in praise, really? Obviously if you don't like platformers, any kind of fighting, you know, if you're like my mum and you prefer Bejeweled and puzzle games, you know, that is fine, but you're probably not going to like this game because it does require reactions of some type. It does require fighting. Well, I'd say beyond that, this probably is multi-appeal to everyone. There are also probably going to be some people who have a lot of nostalgia for the old Sonic games, and admittedly I have a lot of it, and I thought, well, this can't be as good as those games because of how good those games were. If you're not willing to give it a chance, then probably also don't bother, because let's face it, you're not going to give it a chance. And it's sort of not fair to the people who've obviously spent a lot of time on this game. On the other hand, I could understand that happening because you want to live with these sort of good memories of that game. rather than, say, potentially tainting them with a new attempt. So, you know, there's sort of two main groups of people I can understand not wanting to play this game, but everyone else, just go for it. Especially as part of the Humble Bundle as now. I'm actually stunned at how cheap I picked this game up. I think it was worth more, and if they do release DLC for it, or actually preferably a sequel, I will entirely be picking that up. Ooh, boss fight. Come on, come peck yourself. No, come on. Ah, screw it. What you can do, however, is when he stops, make him peck his own back, which is hilarious. There we go. Congrats, dude, you just got duped. Into seppuku, or something. No, suicide. Seppuku is a very specific Japanese suicide ritual. Right, you might as well. I do like the fact that because you can spin dash mid-air, you can spin dash at any time. And if you didn't have the spin attack, this floating spin attack, it would be much harder because you couldn't just jump on enemies' heads. But as it is, you've got two modes of attack that they actually are visually different and mechanically different, because if you spin, if you dash, you end up a long way to the side, and if you... Oh, come on. I actually can't pause now. Let's just skip all this. Basically, he is saying, I'm a good guy, but I'm stealing it. Stop calling me a bad guy. You guys are traitors, or something. But you can ignore him pretty much because it's Ziplot. And we're not paying any attention to that. This boss is imaginative, inventive, and interesting. Wow, last time I did this, I took far less damage. Now, one of the main difficulties oh shit. Oh, and I'm dead. Well, it happens. Luckily, you don't have to start the entire level over again, like you would with Sonic. Actually, no. Forgive me, I do believe that there were checkpoints, at least in Sonic 3, like this system where you're near the boss. So this is very well cribbed. Unfortunately, you do then... Oh wait, no, it skipped that sequence, that's good. So you don't have Robotnik telling you the same thing you already knew. Right, now we'll have him coming back. I should really be more careful about that. If we can take off the arm that's not swinging, or at least while it's not swinging. I think it's probably better to use the punches rather than the twist attack, because we're trying not to be in place when he's attacking. Learn something every day? Or possibly just spin in place upon where his arms are going to be. Yeah, that seemed to help. I mean, you end up getting out of there just out by matter of course. Unfortunately, I did press the stick in the wrong direction at the last moment there. Yeah, you attack Dev. Right, now I've got to take out his other eye, and then finally his head. Unfortunately, it appears we're on one hit away from death. So as you can see, it's not like they've axed the difficulty. Oh. Well, I'm going to leave it there for now and let you explore further into the game. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you would actually consider picking this game up if you are, one of those people who would enjoy it, which I said is practically everyone. Let me know what you think in the comments or by tweeting at iAtzine. My new videos come out, announced on my iAtzine Twitter. Let me know with the like or dislike if you liked or disliked this video, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks very much for watching.